make a little kind of like recipe video for you. I'm making dinner for myself tonight, and I decided I wanted some udon noodles and some tofu. I've been on a really big tofu kick, and so that's what I'm going to be making tonight. And it's just really quick and easy. It takes less than 15 minutes, and it's so good. So stay tuned for the recipe. Okay, so I'm starting with the tofu here. I don't drain my tofu. I just rinse it off in water really quickly, and then I just start squeezing it. And whenever I am making pan-fried tofu like this, I don't want to squeeze it too much and misshape it. So I just keep turning it and letting all the liquid come out. But you can see I'm being kind of careful. Even if there's little splits in it and stuff like that, you just try to keep it as together as you can. And then that's it. It's that simple. Whenever you're making like a tofu scramble or something where it's going to come apart anyways, you could squeeze it a lot harder. So then I just move it onto a paper towel and it's time to cut it up. So this is about how thick I like to slice my tofu, and you just go on down the block doing that. I was really intimidated by tofu at first, but I watched a lot of videos by Cheap Lazy Vegan. She's one of my favorites, and she makes a ton of tofu, and that's actually where I learned to do the no pressing technique. So then I like to cut it in this direction, and then depending on how big you want it, you can leave it in a shape like this. I do that sometimes just for a little bit of a change. It's really fun to pick up that size with chopsticks. But usually I cut it into just little squares like this. It kind of goes with everything. It's perfect size, easy to eat. So I just do that on all of the pieces. And my tofu is ready to go. So we've tried a lot of different things when making tofu. Vegan butter seems to do the best with it. It makes everything just slide around in the pan, and it browns it really nicely on the outside. I happen to really love vegan butter for everything. I usually use the Earth Balance kind. So I'm going to melt the butter. Um, I start out making tofu usually on like medium high heat. So in the other pan, I'm getting ready to make udon noodles. So you can see I'm just putting some sesame oil in there, and that is what that pan is doing over there. These are the udon noodles that I make all the time. They're delicious. Now that the butter is melted, I just start putting the tofu in there. I turn the heat on high for this, and it only has to cook for a couple of minutes. So the tofu on this side, another 2 to 5 minutes, just depending on your preference. And I am just moving them around a little bit. And now that this pan is hot, I can start my noodles, and everything will be done in just the right time. So you just squeeze these noodles out of the bag. It's easier if you try to break them up in the bag a little bit first so that they stay long. Sometimes if you break them up in the pan, you get shorter noodles. But You just want to coat them with the sesame oil. The directions on cooking these say that you only need about 2 minutes. So udon noodles are super quick to make, and you just want to kind of roll them around in that oil, make sure everything is coated, and next I put coconut aminos on there. And you just put enough so that it kind of covers everything again, and then you just move everything around. So the combination of the oil in there and the liquid of the coconut aminos makes it so these aren't sticking. They're heating up just like beautifully. This has been the easiest way that I have found to make udon noodles. And again, just like breaking up the little pieces that you find. There are always a few in there. So again, just moving my tofu around, making sure everything is okay over there. This next ingredient I'm about to put in the noodles is what actually coats the noodles and gives them this amazingly, I don't even know how to describe the texture. It's just like this kind of like thick sauce that sticks to the noodles. And the secret here is tahini. You want to get good, real tahini that you can pour. And I put a couple of tablespoons in here maybe, and you just drizzle it on top. And this just it makes the most amazing texture. I can't even explain it. Sriracha for taste, and I like my stuff spicy, so feel free to use less than this. And then you just toss everything in that, and it coats everything. It sticks to those noodles beautifully. The smell that you get when you're making this is so good, and everything is done. The noodles don't really need to be like cooked, it's just about heating them up. So after you get everything incorporated on these noodles, you're good to go. So I turn off the heat there, and everything is ready. So back over to the tofu, it's completely cooked. I have turned off the heat, but I'm just making sure nothing is sticking. And I'm going to sauce the tofu. You want to take it off of the heat for this. I'm using a spicy Szechuan sauce. We use this on tofu all the time, but any kind of sauce would be great. Teriyaki, some kind of Thai peanut sauce, and you just toss them. It's that simple. The most important part with this is just not to do it on the heat. You're going to get a mess if you try to do that. So that's it. So simple. Now it's just about plating it. I put the noodles on the bottom. Some of them do stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit, but I encourage you to kind of scrape those off into the bowl because the little bit of like crunchiness makes it even better. This isn't the prettiest meal because everything is kind of the same color, but I can tell you, just watching this video is making me so hungry. I think I'm gonna make this for dinner again as I'm doing this video because this is not what I made today. So with everything that I make, I put nuts and seeds on top. And these are some hemp seeds I'm putting on top for nutritional purposes, pretty much with the hemp seeds. It's not so much of a texture thing, but I also like crunch. So I like using sunflower seeds on almost everything. They're also a great source of iron, and I'm always trying to add sources of minerals and things like that. And then I love putting cashews on top of things like this too. They're so satisfying to eat with noodles. And I love crunchy stuff on top of my meals. And that's it, guys. This is my spicy udon with tofu. I really hope you try this recipe. You're not going to be sorry. It's so good.